Welcome to GOSA GH TV. My name is Antonia Krapa Asare. I'm here today to have a discussion with Major General General Anyidoho. Stay tuned.
Yeah,
did you know?
Yeah, problem.
Tree, afina vado, afia agba. Anya jijona mi kata agba ba mi va tu. Nto ta madakuku makenya Henry Anyidoho.
Après, Atoni agba majima adu ezone o pula o do hatio. Baby varo nya poma. Le tanigwe afia. Gba ma de mo na be tobi nye ine ejifufo nye afia jima anglo towe eto alakple gake eva tanigwe afia amama juro wa de edua le 19th century afia va jifufo nye o fufo nye da ya nye du ya moto ko afia va zo apanami tana biam la fisha afia tanigwe to munye ta mono abia ba nuka to Anyidoho afia be to tanigwe e mo de na mana wala pe anglo to yimi atowi gake va chafia jifufonyo ha wo jimi ta mi sugbore wo do la fia be anglo to wona so ojima be fia ko ma gbe pebla nyi over yi le July fanga ka wie toliagbe le 1940 que me va avaliango ni wema machi le du ya mala fia fufunye kule danyo fufunye nkonye tati kojo Anyidoho danye ye Victoria afwa komla danye adu ya motowe so nene mai nye jotope afi me va achi va jesuko gom tayingba fia yeme de gom jesuko la afi eva yide emo dogola baladre mai form 4 emo va yide Kwando Technical Institute emi yone mai alo Kwando Trade School ema yodo Technical School ateti va de school af ma bepo wi no jinu wi nyene afi va jo va yide Takoradi Technical Institute. Fima va wunye main professional course in electrical installation works. Have you ever got a soldier? The Yesuda de Guma Yama Gwenema Kui Takradi Yama Unuro. Yama no Takradi Pamama Yama apply to join the army. Then you soldier Lema Vadu. Lepa Aquaracala Fashake Loa Devore Kema.
Oh, okay. Okay. We were told you ran away from school. What happened?
Yeah, it was at Kwando that I ran away because, you know, during our time, the school system was such that middle school from 4, you were a very senior person.
Okay.
Because that ended the first phase of your education. So throughout the whole of that year, you were a senior person. And you had genius of 3 years behind you. And I found myself being in a junior class the following year in another school because I had reached a different stage in education. Okay. And the way our seniors were handling us, I just couldn't take the bullying. You know, I just couldn't take the bullying, so I made a plan to run away. And I did that actually very successfully. because I did it, because I planned it. I waited until we went to class in the morning, and I withdrew from the class as if though I had forgotten something I was going to take, and I quickly got out of the school before my colleagues could come for lunch break, and they realized that I was not there. My bed was empty because I had folded everything and I was gone. So that was why I came home. But the story followed that when I arrived home, my father asked me why I came. The question the old man asked, I couldn't answer. And then this was his reaction. Since you were born and you started talking, there was never any time that somebody questioned you and you didn't answer. That's you, Kwame, the way I know you. If you are not able to answer this question, it means you have no reason for coming. So you know, following morning, just get up and go back. There's no place for you here. Go back to school, because he was not going to tolerate any disgrace. Because for him, the people, the citizens of this place will think that he was incapable of looking after me. Okay. That was why I had to come back home. So once it was my choice, that school had to be finished. He didn't stop there. He went on to say that when you wake up in the morning, you don't come and greet me. Just go to school. When I wake up and I don't see you, I know you are gone. Do you understand? I say, yes, Papa. And that was it. Simple instruction. Go back. And I answered, Papa, I will go. And I went back.
Wow. So when you went, how was...
It was a shame, man. I had run away from school. And my colleagues, but I created a sort of a scene. Okay. In the school, it was a white man who was our headmaster, Mr. Houghton, the principal, and those were the days they were starting technical education in Ghana. I remember this was 1957. I was in that school before Ghana attained independence. And it was then the president, our first president's policy, that technical education should be encouraged. So he was a young man that came to school and disappeared. So it had caused a lot of confusion in the school. Was I kidnapped? Did I fall sick? What happened? So they were thinking about all this. But because I obeyed my father's instructions and went back, at least it put everybody at ease. But what it did for my colleagues was that the bullying had to stop. Oh. The principal was not going to stop any bullying in order to know that this was what they were doing to us. So I had to face all the criticism or the shame that my running away put on me. But why is that was happening? I saved the skin of my colleagues. And also, it made a lasting impression on me in life that I was not going to go to anywhere and run away again. Okay. I took a decision. From that day, I was only 16 and a half by then. I told myself, if I ever met any difficulty in life, I was not going to run away. If other people were staying, I was also going to stay. Okay. And I think that sort of helped me in my career in the army. Okay.
So how was life in the army?
Very tough. Army life is not an easy life. The training is really tough, but it makes a man out of you. Yes. In the military academy, which I had an opportunity to command, there was one thing we put there at the entrance to the school. You arrive here as a boy, you will go out as a man. That was a welcome message to you. But I joined as a soldier, went to recruit training center in Kumasi, finished training and joined the Signal Corps, communication, study electronics. And worked for about 3-4 years before I was recommended to go to the military academy to train to become an officer. You know, so I passed through various stages. As a soldier, I was a technician, which gave me an opportunity to go to the United States of America. First time I traveled overseas. And those days, to get on an airplane, to go to overseas, it was not a joke. And that was what attracted me to join the army, because there was an advert in the papers. Two things that attracted me to join the army. The advert said you were going to be recruited to be trained as a technician, and you will go to overseas to continue the training. Secondly, when I was in my last year in school, there used to be a radio program for Ghanaian soldiers in the Congo. The one they now call DRC, Congo DRC. It used to be Congo, I think, Leopoldville, the Belgian Congo. Okay. So they were playing music for listener's choice for our troops in the Congo. That's it, for the Ghanaian troops. Every Wednesday, that program came on Radio Ghana. I said, I will join. This woman must be doing a very useful work, trying to save lives. And I think that also propelled me again, because I found myself doing a lot of this type of job when I finally joined. But when I became an officer, I did a variety of jobs in the army. You know, jobs that young officers do, like an adjutant, which means you are a secretary to a commanding officer, like a motor vehicle officer, it means you are looking after all the vehicles that are under the control or command of that unit. You know, there were a variety of jobs, or they made you a troop commander or a platoon commander, as it will be in infantry units. So you did all these jobs as you move on, step by step, until, and the army has a lot of educational programs. There are examinations that you have to pass, from lieutenant before you can become a captain, and then from captain to major you have to do exams. And as you pass the exams and progress in rank, you are assigned different types of jobs. And I went through all that to the rank of a major before I went to Staff College of U.S. Marines in Quantico, Virginia. After that training then, I was promoted Lieutenant Colonel. And again, you started taking on different degree of responsibility. You know, it was one of those that sent me to Middle East to serve under an Irish general, Callahan, as a military press and information officer. And when I came back, again, I did a variety of jobs, including public relations, before I went to finally command the military academy, where I had an opportunity to train my own type of officers. Thank God, today quite a number of them are, they wear the rank of a brigadier general. Quite a number of them. They themselves were commenting on it last time that it was like, they say on your mask, they said go, and all of them crossed the line. And I feel very proud of them, you know. So it was after the command of the military academy, and then I did other senior jobs at the headquarters of the armed forces before I went to Rwanda.
Okay. Can you please tell us about Rwanda?
I know that's what everybody is interested in.
Yes.
Rwanda was rather a very challenging assignment. We went there just for peacekeeping operations. And to start with, I was not the one going to go. As a colleague of mine, a brilliant scholar of our time, Brigadier General Dugbate. Before he could leave, he was taken ill and he had to be replaced. So the Lord fell on me to go. And we were just going there for a normal peacekeeping operations, because those who were fighting had gone to Tanzania, Arusha, Tanzania, to sign an agreement, what we call a peace agreement. Therefore, the United Nations was going to deploy a small force to supervise that agreement from clause A to Z so that they could go in for a democratic government. It was that we went to do. We hadn't finished even deploying the troops when the president's plane was shot down. President Habyarimana on the 6th of April 1964. Personally, I had arrived there in January. In April, we had this havoc on our hand. And people were being killed left, right, center. And you had to do something about it. And we were not many. Small force to supervise a peace agreement. Well, this killing started. Ghana, Belgium, and Bangladesh, these were the only 3 countries that provided troops for the mission. Belgium and Bangladesh decided to go away. So they pulled out of the mission. So the question was Ghana also going to pull away? And I consulted, I must say this was the way it went. I called the battalion commander who actually had the troops under his command. Brigadier, no, he left the army as a Major General, Joseph Adinkra, from Okobodumase area. He was a lieutenant colonel at the time, and I asked him whether, no, I told him, Joe, you know, we came here for peacekeeping operation, but the situation has generated into a whole fighting. People are being killed around us. And I've decided that we are not going to go, we'll stay. I want your opinion. Go and think about it. Because he had a direct command of the troops. I was the senior most Ghanaian officer there. Okay. That's why I was the contingent commander. It means every Ghanaian that was there was under me. But direct command of the troops in the field, he was. So I asked him and he said, sir, if you say we are staying, we are staying. I didn't have to go and think about it. If you have taken a decision that we are staying, then we are staying. Absolute loyalty in the armed forces. And that is very important for you to have your subordinate to be very loyal to you. And of course, then I also needed to be loyal to him. And be loyal to the commander set over me. So once he also gave me that assurance, I told the commander, who was a Canadian, that we were going to stay. Because Canada didn't have troops there. But the Canadian general had the command of all the forces. So I assured him that we were going to stay. This was what happened in... thank God, we didn't lose too many people. And had Ghana also pulled out, of course, it would have been worse. More people would have died. Briefly put, this was what happened in Rwanda. You were there and you saw people being killed and bodies were lying all over the place. Dogs were peeling off the... No, it was not a very good scene. Normally when I talk about it, I become so emotional. And to leave them meant that they were going to kill more. But Ghana, we all agreed. Once the 2 of us, the senior most at the top, agreed. The soldiers came along with us. We did it together. I always emphasize that. From the private soldier to myself, we all did it together. No one person can claim that he did it alone at all. And it became a bond of strong relationship between us, all of us who served on that mission. It's, the Rwandese say Amokuru. In the morning, that's how they greet you. Amokuru. And then you answer Mieza. So that's how we greet each other now. When you hear 2 people say that, it means they were in Rwanda together during the war.
Amokuru.
Mieza.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about this beautiful picture here?
This one was in Sudan, the Darfur region of Sudan.
Okay.
When I left the army, I also served on UN mission in Darfur, to the western part of Sudan, because there was a conflict there. So the United Nations asked me if I was free to go to be deployed there. I had left the army then, so I was a civilian on my own. So they asked me to go there and assist. This picture represents one of the events that took place there. I think our police component did some training for the Sudanese police. And we were presenting, I think, certificates or something to commemorate the occasion. In the field, we do so many things. When I was there, I was the deputy head of mission. I was out of uniform. So I was doing a civilian job. So the deputy head of mission, the police operations also came under my control. You understand that?
Yeah.
It's difficult to... Those who were handling human rights, rule of law, they were all under me.
Okay.
Yeah, they will report to me.
Okay.
Therefore, this event, I had to be present.
Okay. Okay.
So this was not in Rwanda, but in Sudan.
Sudan. Okay. We've heard you've written 2 books.
Yes. This was the first one I wrote, launched, I think, in 1997 or so, 98. Guns over Kigali. What I could remember about the operations in Rwanda. Then came along my journey, every step, talking about me and the Kwame Anyidoho from my birth to the time this book was launched. I think it must have been 2010, June. In July that year, I turned 70.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So this is my story, told some 10 years ago. I tried to recollect as much as I could about my childhood life as I grew into a young man, went to school, whatever I did in school, then my life in the army, my friends, my marriage life, before I started having kids, my family life. I tried to record as much as I could remember in this book. Yes. Okay. With some pictures that punctuated the stories. And I think it's a reasonable collection. If you read this book, you can see whom I am. Okay. For example, when the people of Tanyigbe, of course, let me tell you this was the decoration I had. I had a few decorations when I was in the army. This is the most cherished one. Because this was my decoration for bravery in Rwanda. Okay.
We need to get this book and read.
Yes.
Please, we want to know the difference between Navy and Army. Is it the same as the U.S. Marines?
No.
It's not.
The U.S. Marines, they used to work under the U.S. Navy formally, but now they also take their own seat at the Joint Chiefs of Staff meeting. They are on their own as a service. The Navy put to an ordinary person, they are the soldiers that serve on the sea. Sea-going soldiers, so to say. The Air Force, of course, they work in the air.
Okay.
And they do a variety of things.
Okay.
in the Air Force, they have transport planes. They have fighter planes. Those that drop bombs. Eh? And those that purely just transport passengers. Those they sent on reconnaissance. In the Navy also, they have warships. And they have some of them which are supply ships. Just that supply. When we went to Liberia in 1990, the Ghana Navy, Ghana Air Force, Ghana Army participated in that. It was a beautiful joint operation. The army, the troops, the ground troops were transported to Monrovia on a ship, not on a warship, because we didn't have a big one. So they used Black Star Line to carry them, but escorted by the Navy gunboats. Then the Air Force flew, gave us air cover when the troops were landing at Rwanda, no, in Monrovia, and Charles Taylor's forces were shooting at them. The air cover stopped Charles Taylor's troops because they came in with interdiction charges. They were actually shelling the airport. As the Charles Taylor's forces tried to advance, the Ghanaian and the Nigerian Air Forces together in a combined operation were the ones that saved that situation. They would have killed our soldiers as the ships were trying to dock. You know what we call, they were trying to establish a beachhead. So they had, in the military terms, they would say opposed landing. They were trying to land, somebody was hitting at them. But the Air Force prevented them from doing that. In that process, 2 of our ships became casualty. Taylor's forces dropped bombs on them, and we lost 2 naval officers and 2 ratings at the same time. Yes, if I recall it. So that in war, we take casualties. It's part of our professional hazard.
Oh, okay.
So this is the difference.
Okay.
Some soldiers are working on the sea. Because we have a coastline in Ghana, it has to be protected. We have airspace, it must be protected. The land is there, and the land forces must also take care of that. That's basically the explanation you can give to a lay person. Yeah.
Okay. How was the reaction of people of Tanyube when they heard you became a big man in the army?
Me and my people, it's a long story. That's why I come here very often, you know.
Okay.
Even when I was in last couple and went to US, that course I told you, when I saw the advertisement,
yes,
I joined the army.
Yes.
I went to the US and came back. I was only last couple, 1 stripe on my head. Brass band with the whole community met me at the outskirts here.
Wow.
That time I didn't have a car. But they organized something. I traveled, I came to Ho, came back here. And then they organized a special day. So they came, we paraded through the whole town. Because I was the second person from this place to travel to overseas then. The only person that had gone was one Wuto. We have Wuto family, very prominent family in the division where the paramount chief comes from. Tanyube Anyibe.
Okay.
Yeah. I was the second person, a poor man, a farmer's boy. I had come back from overseas. And when I look back, I said, assuming I had not become an officer, to be able ever to own even a vehicle on my own, all that honor that my people gave me at that time, what would it have resulted into? But God was, you know, giving me the way. The path was there. You have to work to get it. You know, so that kind of reception. And then when I came from Rwanda, that one was a different thing altogether. They met me at home. PWD, you know, before you could enter. At that time, we didn't have this police headquarters there. So PWD and Waterworks, those were about the last of government installations on that road. They came and waited at PWD and took me on a procession through the streets of Ho, through this area there, to the market. When we got to the market, the vehicles came to a standstill. And I heard the little kids say, "Hey, Yake, hey, Yake." Yeah. What it meant to me was that they had been expecting somebody. I make a joy, Lela. Hey, Yake. You know, and then they brought powder from everywhere. The market, everybody was trying to do something to, you know, welcome me home.
Okay.
Before we arrived here at Taingbe, it was not easy. From the outskirts here, because these buildings were not here then. So we had to move forward to the Zion School until we reached the Chiefs Division with a Daba. I mean, that was for Rwanda. Then when I was retired from the army in 2001, and I arrived here. So I've been telling people that for me, I saw the way my burial will be. How my people will bury. I have seen part of it. I think they love me and I love them.
Okay.
I will do anything for this place.
Okay.
It's not that everybody in the community is going to be your friend. That's not what I'm talking about. I care. And I think they care.
Yeah.
They care so much about me, and that's also why I left the UN. When I finished at the UN in Darfur, Sudan, I was at the level of Assistant Secretary General. And at that rank, you don't retire. If you want to go, you go. They won't send you away.
Okay.
They will always find you some job to do. But I was then going to be 70 years, and I said, no. I have to go back to this place where people carried me on their back, the water that I drank, the breast that I sat. No. I cannot abandon. I have to go back. You can be sending money, but money alone will not do it. Let me go back to my people and be of some service to them. This was why I came. And I've not regretted doing that, because I can see the fruits of the little things that I've been doing. For our secondary school to be where it is today, when at some time ago it was going to be closed, no, for me, I'm happy here.
How was life those days compared to today?
Here?
Yes.
The community is grown bigger. Now we have a secondary school. Those days we had one elementary school. We have electricity today. We didn't have electricity at that time. So social amenities have improved. This road on which you have traveled used to be a very rough road. It only got tarred a few years back. So those ones have, but whether people love each other as it used to be, I'm not sure. Whether children are still obeying adults or their parents as we used to do, like the story I told between my father.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that is happening now.
Okay.
That is a worry to me, that the kids do not appear to be taking instructions as we used to do. They are not taking their studies seriously in school. But for us, during our time, it was because we couldn't get people to look after us in school. It's not that the people were not willing to go. Yeah.
Okay. Do you still have your uniforms?
Yes, they are there.
They are there.
I have a few collection of them here in the house if you want to look at.
Yes. That was Henry Kwame Anyidoho, Major General. Yes. We are so grateful to you. We are live on GOSA GH TV. subscribe to GOSA GH TV. Thank you so much for watching.